This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Welcome to From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by College Recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career, and hosted by Work Defined. Join our AI co-hosts as they dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Let's get your career started.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Pretty wild to think about how much the job hunt has changed, even just in the last few years.
Absolutely. It feels completely different.
Yeah, when I was starting out, it was resumes, cover letters, maybe an interview. Now, it's all online assessments, it seems.
Well, not all, but yeah, they're a huge part of it. Something like, over half of organizations are using them now?
That many?
Yeah.
Okay, so from the employer's side, what's the draw? Why rely on these tests?
Well, they're really looking for objective, data-driven ways to evaluate people, get past just the resume.
See if someone can actually do the job.
Exactly. Can they demonstrate the skills? Plus, it can actually open doors for people without maybe the traditional degree or background if they can prove they've got the skills.
Okay, that makes sense. So when we say online assessments, what are we actually talking about? Is it like taking the SATs again?
Sometimes it might feel like it, but no, it's broader. You've got a few main buckets. First, technical skills tests.
Right, like practical stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Then there are cognitive ability tests, more about general thinking skills.
Okay.
And then personality or psychometric tests. Those look at like work style and fit.
Gotcha. So technical skills. That's the show me you can do it category, like a coding test for a developer or maybe a writing sample.
Precisely. That's the idea. Verifying those specific hands-on job skills. Can you actually write the code, build the marketing plan, whatever it is? Instead
of just saying you can on your resume.
Right. You see it all the time in tech, HackerRank, Codility, those platforms. But even retailers like Walmart use situational judgment tests. How would you handle this customer issue?
Okay. And do they actually work? Do these tests predict who's going to be good at the job?
Well, the data suggests they're pretty valuable. There was one survey, I think, where something like 92% of employers felt these tests improved their hiring decisions.
92%, that's high.
It is. They help filter out folks who might look good on paper or interview well, but just don't have the practical chops. And interestingly, HR people say candidates scoring high are often likely to advance, even without that traditional background.
So it could level the playing field a bit?
It can, yeah. About 76% of companies are using skills testing now. The key, though, is relevance. The test has to actually reflect the job. Abstract puzzles might screen out perfectly good candidates.
Yeah, I can see that. If I'm applying for graphic design, give me a design task, not, logic riddles. Okay, what about the second type? Cognitive ability tests. These sound more like those standardized tests.
They do tap into general mental abilities, yeah. Numerical reasoning, verbal comprehension, logical thinking, that sort of thing.
Like an IQ test almost.
Sort of in that vein, yeah. Think Wonderlic, CCAT, those kinds of things. It's really about gauging your capacity to learn quickly, solve new problems, handle complexity.
Okay. So useful for jobs needing critical thinking. Consulting, finance, maybe.
Exactly. Places like that often use them. Even State Farm uses one, the PI learning indicator, to assess learning aptitude. And honestly, they're also just practical for high-volume hiring. Helps narrow the field efficiently.
Right. Sift through hundreds of applications. But isn't there a concern about bias with these? Like, could they unfairly screen people out based on background rather than ability?
That's a really valid concern, and it's definitely discussed. Some tests can have biases if not designed carefully, cultural references, reliance on specific educational backgrounds.
Right.
So it's crucial that employers validate these tests, make sure they actually relate to the job requirements and aren't just, generic puzzles. Most good employers use scores as one data point, not the whole story. They might combine it with other things, like Deloitte does, to try and make it more inclusive.
Okay, so use them carefully and as part of a bigger picture. Makes sense. What about the third category, personality and psychometric tests? Trying to figure out if you'll fitting.
Yeah, that's basically it. Assessing behavioral traits, personality profiles, work style preferences. Are you conscientious? How do you handle teamwork? Stuff like that.
Like Myers-Briggs or DISI. I've heard of those.
Those are common examples, yeah. Though maybe less used for hiring specifically these days compared to others like Hogan or Predictive Index. Amazon has its work style assessment tied to their leadership principles. The goal is gauging fit with the role, the team, the company culture. Something like 80% of Fortune 500s use some form of these.
80%? Wow. Mm-hmm. Do they actually predict performance? Well, it feels fuzzier than a skills test.
It's definitely less direct than can you code this function, but yes, they can add predictive value. Certain traits like conscientiousness do correlate pretty strongly with job performance across many roles, and they can help reduce turnover if you find people who genuinely fit the environment.
Okay.
And because there often aren't strictly right or wrong answers, just profiles, they can sometimes be harder to, let's say, game effectively, though people certainly try.
Right. People might try to answer how they think the company wants them to.
Exactly. And the validity of some, like maybe MBTI for hiring, is debated. But still, you see widespread use. Around 46% of employers report using them, so clearly they see value in predicting fit and potential.
Okay, so that gives us a good picture of the different tests. But you mentioned this new challenge, AI-assisted cheating. That sounds, like a whole new ballgame.
It really is. It's becoming a serious headache for employers. With tools like ChatGPT being so accessible, well, candidates are using them to try and beat these assessments.
How? Can you give an example? I'm trying to picture this.
Oh, definitely. There is one case, a software job posting. Get this.
The pace of change in the world of business is fast, and that drives incredible complexity for the world of human resources.
Welcome to the HR Data Labs podcast, a series of conversations with experts inside and outside the world of HR on how to innovate, measure, and evolve our practices.
Our goal is to help provide you with practical examples of how HR has to change to meet the complexity of the business environment.
Every week, we'll talk to new and different voices on all aspects of HR.
And at times, we'll get irreverent.
Silly even.
And sometimes geek out on the data and technology that underlie the processes that drive the world of HR.
But the conversations are always insightful and fun. So please, enjoy the HR Data Labs podcast.
80% of the applicants apparently used ChatGPT on the coding test.
No way. How did they know?
Because the AI messed up, it couldn't read instructions in an image properly, so all 80 submitted the exact same wrong answer.
Oh my gosh, that's ironically revealing. Shows more skill with AI prompting than basic problem solving.
Precisely. But it's not always that obvious. There is this study by Interviewing.io. They had experienced tech interviewers watch live coding sessions. 0 out of 37 could reliably tell when a candidate was secretly using ChatGPT for help. 0.
Wow. So it's good enough to fool experts in a live setting.
Apparently, yes, for many standard problems. The AI solved standard questions correctly about 73% of the time, slightly tweaked ones 67%. It only really struggled with totally novel custom problems. And the scary part, the AI answers often look really polished, which might even bias the interviewer positively towards the cheater.
That is really concerning. It kind of undermines the whole point of the assessment, doesn't it? Why are candidates doing this? Is it just wanting an easy way out?
It seems to be a mix of things. Definitely pressure-tight job market, layoffs, people feel desperate.
Yeah, competition is fierce.
Right. Then there's lack of confidence, imposter syndrome maybe. Some feel the tests are unfair hurdles anyway, so they rationalize it. One study found a third felt justified because they were frustrated with the process.
Interesting. So it's not just laziness.
Not primarily, according to one poll. Only 5% said laziness. Way more cited lack of confidence or process frustration. And honestly, it's just easy now. The tools are right there, free. It's a low barrier to just check an answer, which then spirals.
Okay, so the implications for employers. This sounds pretty bad. It throws the whole hiring process into doubt.
It really does. It erodes trust in the results. You start wondering, is this score real? The big risk is hiring someone who aced the test with AI, but can't actually do the work. That's a huge waste of time and money and leads to performance problems.
Yeah, and you hear stories about that already.
Exactly. And if employers can't trust online tests, they might revert to in-person proctored exams, which makes everything slower, more expensive, more stressful for everyone.
And you mentioned a security risk, too.
Yeah, think about it. Candidates pasting assessment questions, potentially containing sensitive company info or logic, into a public AI tool. That's a potential data leak right there. Some companies, like Anthropic, are explicitly telling applicants not to use AI.
Okay, wow. This is a serious challenge. So what can employers actually do about it? How do they fight back against AI cheating?
It's got to be a multi-layered strategy. First off, smarter test design.
How so?
Using unique questions, maybe custom-built ones that aren't just floating around online. Remember that interviewing.io stat. AI success dropped from 73% on common problems to just 25% on novel ones.
Big difference.
Huge. Also, adaptive tests where questions change based on answers. More open-ended tasks like show your work, explain your thinking. AI struggles more with that why.
Right, not just the answer, but the process.
Exactly. Game-based assessments, interactive simulations. AI can't really play those dynamic scenarios effectively yet. And shifting away from single right answer formats, especially for things like coding design or strategy questions, focus on originality.
Okay, make the test harder for AI to just spit out an answer. What else? More policing.
Yeah, enhanced proctoring and detection is another big piece. Using automated software browser lockdowns, webcam monitoring, maybe even AI tracking eye movements or looking for phone use.
Sounds intense.
It can be. Screen sharing, recording sessions. There are also tools emerging to detect AI-written text or code plagiarism checkers, comparing output to known AI patterns. Remember that Reddit story where everyone made the same AI error? Detection tools can look for those identical weird mistakes.
Ah, right. Like digital fingerprinting?
Kind of. Plus, good old-fashioned human oversight, live proctoring for really critical roles, comparing test performance to how someone acts and communicates in an interview. Do things line up? And having clear policies and making candidates attest they didn't cheat. It's a deterrent, at least.
So better tests, better watching. Are there bigger shifts in how companies evaluate people? Maybe relying less on these tests overall.
That's definitely part of the conversation. Moving towards more holistic methods, things like structured interviews that include live practical exercises.
Like live coding or a real-time case study.
Exactly. Or project-based assessments where you do a task and then present it, facing in-depth questions about your work. Looking more closely at portfolios, open source contributions, even trial periods or contract to hire roles.
More focus on demonstrated work over test score.
Right. And maybe even carefully embracing AI. Some are exploring allowing AI as a tool, like a co-pilot, but evaluating how the candidate uses it, their strategy, their understanding, assessing prompt engineering skills, perhaps.
Interesting. Using it as a skill itself.
Potentially. And finally, just education. Being transparent about why assessments are used, emphasizing honesty, and having clear consequences for cheating. Plus, companies need to monitor their own data for suspicious trends. Assessment firms saw huge spikes in cheating behavior when things went remote.
Okay. That's a lot for employers to think about.
It is. It's an evolving landscape.
So wrapping this up, it's clear these online assessments, they offer real benefits, especially for early career hiring, finding talent, objective measures.
For sure. They can be valuable tools.
But this rise of AI-assisted cheating is a serious curveball. It challenges the integrity of the whole process.
Absolutely. Both employers and job seekers really need to be aware of this.
And for you listening, if you're starting your career, I guess the takeaway is that genuine skills matter more than ever.
That's the core message, really. The temptation to use AI might be there, but employers are getting smarter about detecting it, and ultimately you need to be able to actually do the job. You might even see more emphasis on proving skills in person or through more rigorous projects.
So it really makes you wonder, as AI gets woven deeper into everything, job searching, hiring, how will we even define demonstrating your abilities in the future? How will that need to change?
That's the big question, isn't it? Definitely something to think about as you navigate your career path.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for this really insightful deep dive into online assessments and the AI challenge.
My pleasure.
This has been From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by College Recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career. Each episode, we dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Subscribe to this podcast for free now, so you don't miss an episode, and visit www.collegerecruiter.com to find your next great job.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Every minute your finance team spends wrestling with data is a minute lost. Insight Software's AI-powered insights instantly move you from complexity to clarity. Automated analysis, real-time reporting, strategic recommendations, all at your fingertips. Transform how your finance team works and watch your business grow. Stop wasting time. Start making smarter decisions. Learn more at insightsoftware.com/AI.